This is Alan, a 23-year-old computer support specialist. After graduating college with a Bachelor of Arts, he decided he would look for a computer-focused job in the professional workforce. In his first position, Alan was one of many user support specialists in charge of several thousand devices on his university's network. He was unhappy in this position because he felt his supervisor did not give him enough responsibility in comparison to the other student workers. Alan felt underappreciated and underestimated, so he quickly left the position and found work in the university's Academic Humanities department. As the only IT staff in the department, he was supposed to supply faculty members with equipment, services, and support. Alan felt disrespected in his old position. As the new support specialist, however, Alan saw himself as the expert. Sadly, his self-proclaimed authority quickly turned into cockiness by his fourth week.
I'm basically a systems administrator, which means I am God here.
He would often say there was no one above him but the department chair.
I can't believe how much authority I have. I'm pretty high up in the computer world responsibility-wise.
To Alan, faculty members were
just users, nobodies who use the computers I set up. I put my stuff down on their level.
He failed to see the big picture. Unfortunately, the big picture was why he was hired in the first place. Alan was a tool in a big machine, and his false sense of identity and authority in his writing threw the department out of balance. Since Alan thought of himself as basically God, he considered himself to be above the communication conventions the humanities department already put in place. These conventions would have helped Alan view himself realistically. This genuine sense of self is known as identity. The department had around 15 to 20 email groups. Employees were instructed to use these groups so only the necessary people were contacted. Alan, however, completely ignored this protocol and used a special list that emailed everybody. People began to ignore emails that came from Alan because they figured they were irrelevant. Oblivious to the benefits of the group protocol, Alan's identity as IT specialist was lost. In fact, his poor communication with the department made others see him as an annoyance. In his emails, Alan constantly reminded humanities faculty that he was in charge of all computer-related tasks and insisted they respect his authority. While this was true, Alan did not write like an authoritative figure. His communications were filled with double negatives, grammatical mistakes, and more. Employees are supposed to respect those in authority, but it is very difficult to respect a person who fails to use basic spelling, grammar, and punctuation. One's writing can greatly impact how others respect you, so it's important to know how to write with identity and authority in a new workplace. Otherwise, you may end up like Alan. According to sociologist Dr. Etienne Wenger, there are 3 interconnected modes of belonging that Alan should have used when communicating with faculty. Engagement requires defining a common enterprise. New and old employees work together to develop interpersonal relationships and a sense of interacting trajectories that shape identities in relation to one another. If Alan would have treated other faculty as respected peers instead of mere users, he would have fostered a positive work relationship in his department. Imagination is a process of expanding yourself by transcending time and space, creating new images of both the world and yourself. While IT can be a dry subject, Alan could have put in extra creative effort to make his messages more engaging. Alignment consists of negotiating perspectives, finding common ground, and defining broad visions and aspirations. It places your local actions in perspective with the broader vision of a company. Alan could have aligned with his department's goals if he stopped thinking of himself as God. People in the workforce, like Alan, must accept their new identity and emulate the work other employees do, including their writing styles and conventions. They must accept the reality that their ethos and work habits must align with the rest of the organization, and if necessary, they must push their personal interests aside. Furthermore, new workers must learn how to responsibly exercise the authority they have been given if they ever hope to survive in a new community. If a worker does not exercise authority when he or she should, authority will be questioned. On the other end of the spectrum, a worker can overuse their authority and completely alienate himself from the organization. It's a balancing act that new employees will have to discover themselves. After observing Alan, I hope you see the value of knowing your identity and authority in a new workplace.